In a quiet corner of an upscale New York City restaurant, soft golden light bathes the exquisitely set tables where diners chatter lively. Yet, at a secluded table near the window, a man sits in silence, his pensive gaze fixed on a young waitress hurrying between tables. Her worn, threadbare uniform, frayed at the shoulders, draws the scorn of a wealthy patron whose icy, mocking tone slices through the air, making the room feel as if it's holding its breath. The man, his silver-flecked hair catching the light, clad in a dark, tailored suit, tightens his grip on his wine glass, a surge of indescribable emotion rising within him. Who is he, and why does this act of humiliation stir him so deeply? This story will take you on a journey of compassion and transformation. Hit that subscribe button now and tune in at 8 p.m. every evening to never miss these inspiring tales. Anna weaves through the elegant dining tables, her worn shoes whispering softly against the polished wooden floor of the restaurant. Warm, golden light spills across her face, but it cannot dispel the chill of the scrutinizing gazes around her. Her uniform, a faded white blouse with frayed cuffs and a black skirt, its hem worn thin, bears witness to months of hardship. Each stitch in the fabric tells a story of meager wages, of sleepless nights spent by her mother's bedside in a cramped apartment on the outskirts of New York. At 22, Anna carries a heart both resilient and fragile, steeling herself against demanding patrons and their baseless complaints. She has grown accustomed to bowing her head, offering a forced smile and pressing forward, but today, a deeper wound slices into her pride. A woman seated near the bar, her jewelry glinting under the lights, suddenly raises her voice. "Look at her like she pulled that uniform from a dumpster." Her sharp, mocking laugh cuts through the room, drawing the eyes of other diners. Anna feels each stare like a needle piercing her skin. Her hands tighten around the serving tray, knuckles blanching as she fights to hold back tears. She lowers her head, her brown hair shielding her reddened eyes, and hurries toward the counter, longing to vanish into the shadows of a quiet corner. Inside, a silent storm rages. Humiliation, helplessness, but above all, a patience forged through years of endurance. She refuses to let them see her weakness, to give them fuel for further mockery. Unbeknownst to Anna, in a secluded corner of the restaurant, near a large window overlooking the bustling streets, a man watches her. James, 45, sits quietly, gently swirling a glass of red wine, his deep eyes holding an ocean of memories. He stands apart from the other patrons, his tailored dark suit understated yet impeccable, his silver-flecked hair and fleeting, faint smile setting him apart. James is a millionaire, though no one in the room would guess it. He is the silent force behind major charitable foundations, aiding thousands while shunning the spotlight. A single father, James has lived in solitude since the death of his beloved wife, left with only his young daughter, Lily, as his anchor. Lily, with her clear eyes and radiant smile, is the sole light in his shadowed world. Today, James isn't here for the food or the luxury. He's driven by a deeper, elusive purpose, a faded memory he can't quite name. As his gaze settles on Anna, he recognizes something familiar, a quiet strength, a pain concealed behind a strained smile. He watches her movements, the way she bows her head under the weight of scorn, and his heart tightens. James once stood in Anna's shoes years ago, a young man working as a server in a small diner, enduring the disdain of those who felt entitled to judge. He recalls his mother, a janitor, mocked for her tattered shoes, her eyes a blend of shame and defiance, a look he now sees mirrored in Anna. The woman's taunts echo, snapping James back to the present. A wave of emotion surges within him, an urge too powerful to suppress. He wants to rise, to speak out for the young woman, but a part of him hesitates. He fears his intervention might deepen Anna's embarrassment, thrusting her further into an unwanted spotlight. But when the woman persists, berating Anna for a single drop of water spilled on the table, James can no longer hold back. His blood surges, not just with anger, but with the ache of old wounds resurfacing. He sets his glass down, rises, and approaches the woman's table, his eyes piercing yet his voice calm, commanding. "Do you know a person's worth isn't defined by the clothes they wear?" His words cut like a blade, silencing the laughter and plunging the restaurant into stillness. Anna, standing a few steps away, lifts her head in astonishment. She never imagined anyone would defend her, least of all a stranger. Her eyes meet James's, and in that fleeting moment she sees not only anger, but a profound sadness, as if he's battling shadows from his past. His action doesn't just quiet the woman, it kindles a faint spark of hope in Anna's heart. For the first time that day, she feels she isn't alone. James returns to his table, calls Anna over, and quietly hands her a generous tip along with a small folded note. When she opens it, a single line reads, "You are worth more than this." Clutching the note, Anna feels a strange warmth bloom within her, as if a door has cracked open in her heart. James sits quietly in the restaurant's corner, his gaze unwavering on Anna, the young waitress moving between tables with restrained precision. Under the soft golden glow of the lights, her silhouette is like a vivid painting marred by scratches, each step weighed down by the burden of judgmental stares and whispered malice. James, his silver-flecked hair catching the light, dressed in a meticulously tailored dark suit, sees not just the Anna of this moment but himself in distant days, when he was a young man serving tables in a small suburban diner. The scornful looks, the jeers aimed at his threadbare shirt or faded shoes, they cut like razors, leaving scars that never fully healed. He overcame those days, rising to become a discreet millionaire. But those memories remain a smoldering ember, ready to flare whenever he witnesses injustice. The humiliation Anna endures, sparked by the mocking laughter of a woman dripping with sparkling jewelry, is no fleeting moment for James. It's a hammer, shattering the protective shell he's built around his heart. He recalls his mother, a janitor with calloused hands and a gentle smile, ridiculed for her tattered shoes on a cold, rainy afternoon. Her eyes then, a blend of shame and resilience, etched themselves into James's soul, fueling his drive to succeed, but also leaving a lingering ache he could never shake. Watching Anna, he sees that same patience in the way she bows her head, in the trembling of her slender shoulders as she fights back tears. She is more than a waitress shamed for her worn uniform. She embodies the people James loved and lost, those who taught him the value of dignity on the edge of contempt. He sits there, the red wine in his glass gently swirling, his deep eyes sifting through layers of memory. Part of him burns to act, to rise and defend this young woman, as he wishes he could have done for his mother years ago. Yet another part, more rational, holds him back. He fears his intervention, though born of kindness, might deepen Anna's embarrassment, thrusting her into a situation she doesn't want. He knows too well the sting of becoming the center of attention, exposed to curious stares. He doesn't want to inflict another wound on her, even unintentionally. But when the woman raises her voice again, berating Anna for a single drop of water spilled on the table, her icy tone pierces James's restraint like an arrow. His blood surges not just with anger, but with the reawakening of an old pain, a silent vow to himself that he would never let injustice prevail in his presence. James sets his glass down, the motion slow but resolute. He rises, his tall frame commanding yet unassuming, and approaches the woman's table with a calm that feels almost formidable. His eyes are sharp, as if they could see through any facade. When he speaks, his voice is clear, steady, yet carries an undeniable force. Do you know a person's worth isn't defined by the clothes they wear? The words land like a stone dropped into a still lake, sending ripples that silence the restaurant. Curious glances and whispers cease, and the woman, with all her arrogance, shrinks under James's presence. He doesn't need to shout or threaten. The sincerity and authority in his voice compel everyone to listen. Anna, standing a few steps away, lifts her head, her tear-reddened eyes wide with astonishment. She never imagined anyone would stand up for her, especially a stranger whose demeanor sets him apart from any patron she served. She looks at James, and in that fleeting moment, she senses something deeper than anger in his gaze, a sorrow, an empathy she can't fully grasp. His action doesn't just silence the woman, it ignites a faint spark in Anna's heart, a feeling that she isn't entirely invisible in this world. James, after speaking, doesn't linger for acknowledgement. He quietly returns to his table, his eyes still carrying a pensive weight. He calls Anna over, placing a generous tip and a small folded note in her hand. When she opens it, a single line reads, "You are worth more than this." The words, like a gentle whisper, touch her heart, melting the icy grip of her humiliation. Anna stands frozen in the restaurant, her serving tray gripped tightly, but her heart now beats to a different rhythm. In her world, where each day is a relentless cycle of bowing her head and enduring, the notion that someone might rise to defend her feels like an extravagant dream, forever out of reach. Yet that moment has arrived, sudden and powerful, like a beam of light piercing the darkness. The man named James, with his calm demeanor radiating an unspoken authority, has just silenced the entire restaurant with a single razor-sharp sentence. His words not only halt the jeweled woman's scorn, but sweep away the probing stares and venomous whispers like an invisible wave, leaving behind an eerie stillness, as if the very air holds its breath in the presence of his quiet strength. Anna gazes at James, her eyes shimmering with astonishment and an emotion she can't quite name. He is unlike any patron she has served, those who either ignore her or nitpick over trivial details. James carries a distinction, not in his impeccably tailored dark suit or silver-flecked hair, but in his eyes. As their gazes meet, she sees not just a burning anger at injustice, but a profound sadness, as though he carries a world of unseen wounds. Anna cannot know that. For James, standing up for her is more than a response to the humiliation she's endured. It's an act of redemption, a way to confront the times he remained silent in his youth, too powerless to shield his loved ones from the world's cruel taunts. Her heart races no longer from shame or humiliation as it did moments ago. Instead, a fragile yet warm spark of hope begins to flicker within her. In all her years toiling in the restaurant, where she has been an invisible figure weaving through tables to serve people who never truly see her, she has never felt this. But James has seen her, not merely as a waitress in a threadbare uniform, but as a person with dignity and dreams buried beneath the weight of life. His brief act has melted a layer of the icy barrier around her heart, leaving her with a sense that, perhaps, she is not entirely alone. James, having spoken, does not linger for attention or gratitude. He returns to his table, his eyes still heavy with an unspoken introspection. He sits, the red wine before him glinting faintly under the lights, but his mind is no longer in the restaurant. He thinks of his mother, of the days she quietly endured mockery for her tattered shoes, and of the times he wished he'd had the courage to act. Today, with Anna, he has done it, not to prove anything to the world, but to heal a piece of his own wounded soul. He calls Anna over, his voice soft yet firm, and as she approaches, he places a generous tip in her hand along with a carefully folded note. He avoids her gaze, not wanting her to feel obligated to respond. For James, this gesture is enough, a way to tell her and himself that a person's worth is never defined by what they wear or own. Anna accepts the money and note, her hands trembling slightly as she senses the weight of his gesture. She steps back toward the counter, her heart still pounding, and when she steals a moment to unfold the note, a single line greets her. "You are worth more than this." The words, simple yet powerful, wash over her soul like a warm breeze. She clutches the note tightly, her fingers curling as if to hold on to this moment, to keep it from slipping away like a dream. A strange warmth fills her, comfort laced with curiosity. Who is this man? Why does he care about her, an anonymous waitress among thousands passing through this place? Anna has no answers, but those words, paired with James's sorrowful gaze, carve themselves into her memory, a reminder that she holds value, even when she herself has forgotten it. She carefully folds the note and tucks it into the pocket of her worn uniform as if it were a precious keepsake. As she resumes her work, her steps feel lighter, no longer dragged down by the weight of before. Though it's just a moment, James's actions have planted a seed of hope in her heart, a belief that perhaps, just perhaps, her life might be more than an endless chain of endurance. Meanwhile, James sits quietly at his corner table, his eyes following Anna from afar, his heart eased yet still tinged with unease. He doesn't know that with that small note, he has opened a new door in her life, a door that both of them, in their own ways, have been searching for. The pale morning sunlight of New York filters through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the street where Anna walks, her worn shoes whispering softly against the sidewalk. She still works at the restaurant, gliding between tables with a grace born of instinct. But today, her mind is not as heavy as usual. Tucked in the pocket of her threadbare uniform, the small note from James rests quietly, like a smoldering ember warming her heart. Its simple words, "You are worth more than this," echo in her thoughts, a gentle reminder that someone, even a stranger, has seen her value amidst the indifferent stares and cruel taunts. But life does not pause for Anna to linger in that warmth. Her mother, with frail hands and weary eyes, still needs costly medicine. Bills pile high on the kitchen table in their cramped suburban apartment, waiting to be paid. A new uniform, though a modest dream, remains a luxury she dares not consider. Anna works with a heart caught between conflicting emotions, warmed by the memory of James's kindness, yet weighed down by the harshness of reality. Each time her fingers brush the note in her pocket, a flicker of hope sparks, only to be quickly extinguished by the chime signaling a new table, the manager's scrutinizing gaze, or the sharp pang in her chest when she thinks of her mother. She longs to believe life could be kinder, that James's words were more than a fleeting moment, but years of endurance have worn her patience thin. She presses on, smiling at patrons, wiping stains from tables, and holding her heart together, but deep within her burns a yearning for a day when she is no longer an anonymous waitress, but someone seen, someone valued. Meanwhile, a few blocks away from the restaurant, James sits in his luxurious office, where vast glass windows frame the bustling streets of Manhattan. Sunlight spills across his ebony desk, strewn with documents and multi-million-dollar contracts. But his thoughts are elsewhere. He gazes out, his deep eyes tracing the flow of people below, yet Anna's image lingers in his mind. He cannot stop thinking of her, the young woman whose slender shoulders trembled with restraint, whose resilient gaze bore the scars of a hard life. He has looked into her background through the restaurant's manager, an action that surprised even himself. He knows of Anna's struggles, her ailing mother, the tiny apartment she calls home, and the college dreams she shelved to care for her family. These details stir him, reawakening an old pain, the anguish of watching loved ones suffer while he stood powerless. James thinks of Lily, his 10-year-old daughter, with her radiant smile and innocent questions about the world. He wonders if, should he no longer be there, Lily would have Anna's strength to face life's challenges. The thought tightens his heart, yet it also ignites a fierce resolve within him. He cannot let Anna remain trapped in a cycle of endurance. He wants to act, not for recognition, but to give back a fraction of what life has granted him. James contacts a charitable organization he quietly funds, one that has aided thousands without ever revealing his role. He instructs them to support Anna discreetly, a full scholarship to resume her college education, funds to cover her mother's medical expenses. He insists she must not know he is behind it. For James, this is more than charity. It's a way to heal the wounds within himself, the times he stayed silent in the face of injustice, the moments he wished he had done more for those he loved. He sits there, staring out at the city, feeling a rare sense of relief. This act, though small in his vast world, is a step toward redeeming the moments he let slip by. He thinks of his mother, of her steadfast gaze, and tells himself that through Anna, he is carrying forward her legacy, a legacy of compassion and resilience. Meanwhile, Anna, back at the restaurant not far away, continues her work with James's note in her pocket. She is unaware that in a place beyond her sight, a man is quietly altering the course of her life. That note, with its simple words, has become a tiny beacon in her darkness, and though she cannot yet see what lies ahead, she senses, however faintly, that change is drawing near. A light drizzle falls outside the weathered window, raindrops sliding down the glass, leaving blurred streaks in the cramped suburban New York apartment. Anna sits on a worn wooden chair, the faint glow of a desk lamp illuminating the letter in her hands. The neatly printed words on the page, though simple, carry a profound weight, making her feel as if she's caught in a dream. A full scholarship to return to college, financial aid for her mother's medical care. These are hopes she never dared to entertain, now within her grasp. She reads the letter again and again, her fingers trembling as they trace each word, as if afraid they might vanish if she blinks. The letter bears no sender's name, only the mark of a charitable organization she's never heard of. But to Anna, it's a miracle, a door cracking open in her life shrouded in darkness. She folds the letter, pressing it to her chest, and silent tears begin to fall. These are not the tears of shame or despair she's grown accustomed to, but tears of release, a feeling that, for the first time, she is truly seen. In the small apartment, where the patter of rain mingles with her mother's labored breaths from the next room, Anna feels a warmth spreading through her. She doesn't know who is behind this letter, has no clues to follow, but in her mind the image of the man from the restaurant, James, with his sorrowful yet resolute eyes, rises vividly. The words from the note he left her, "You are worth more than this," echo like a refrain, linking to this letter, making her wonder if he could be the one who has altered her fate. Anna wipes her tears, rises, and in that moment, a quiet transformation begins. She enrolls in college again, her first steps hesitant, but growing steadier with time. She continues working at the restaurant, still facing scrutinizing glances and petty complaints. But now she carries a new fire within. She studies at night, hunched over a small table with books and coffee, sometimes exhausted to the point of collapse, but never giving up. Gradually, a smile returns to her face, not the forced one she wore to appease customers, but the radiant light of someone rediscovering herself. One day, she uses her meager savings to buy a new uniform, a crisp white blouse and a sleek black skirt. She wears it not to please anyone else, but because she wants to stand tall, to look in the mirror and see an Anna who is confident, an Anna worthy of the opportunities unfolding before her. Meanwhile, far from Anna's cramped apartment, James sits in his elegant office, reports from the charitable organization neatly arranged on his desk. He reads each line about Anna's progress, her enrollment in school, the long nights she devotes to her studies, and the way her smile has begun to shine more often. He never appears before her, never wants her to know he is the one behind it all. For James, this isn't about seeking recognition. It's a personal journey, a way to mend the old scars in his heart. Every step Anna takes, however small, brings him a sense of relief, as if he's reclaiming a part of himself, the part lost in the years he stood silent before injustice, in the days he couldn't shield his mother from the world's cruel mockery. James gazes out his window, where New York streets pulse under the glow of dusk. He thinks of Lily, his young daughter, and wonders if she could grow up with the compassion and resilience Anna embodies. He doesn't need Anna to know his name or thank him. Her steady rise, step by step, is enough to make him feel he's done something right. Meanwhile, in another corner of the city, Anna still keeps James's note in her pocket, a tiny talisman reminding her of her worth. She doesn't know that. Through his quiet actions, they are together weaving a story of kindness and healing, a story they may never meet again to share. Time slips by quietly, like a gentle breeze weaving through the bustling streets of New York, carrying with it transformations no one could have foreseen. Anna, the young woman who once tread softly in a threadbare uniform under scrutinizing gazes, now stands at a new crossroads in her life. Months of relentless study, long nights hunched over books at a small table in her cramped apartment, and unwavering perseverance have led her to an unimaginable milestone. She graduates college with an outstanding degree. Her face, once etched with exhaustion and restraint, now glows with a radiant new light. Anna is no longer the nameless waitress bowing before taunts. She has become a social worker, her heart brimming with passion to uplift those in hardship, people in whom she sees her own past, days of struggle, dreams buried beneath the weight of life's burdens. On an autumn evening, beneath the dazzling lights of a grand charity event in central Manhattan, Anna stands on a stage, hundreds of eyes fixed upon her. A simple yet elegant black dress graces her frame, no longer the worn uniform of old, yet still carrying a humble sincerity. When she speaks, her voice, though soft, resonates with an inner strength that touches the hearts of everyone present. She shares her journey, the humiliating days in the restaurant, when she was mocked for her tattered clothes, when each step felt heavy under contemptuous stares. She speaks of endless nights caring for her mother, of bills piling high, and of a college dream that once seemed unattainable. Above all, she recounts the moment a stranger changed everything. A man with sorrowful yet steadfast eyes who stood up for her and left a small note with words that became a beacon guiding her path. Anna doesn't know the man's name, who he is, or why he chose to help her. But as she speaks, her voice trembles with emotion, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. She shares that she will forever carry a debt of thanks to him, not just for his actions, but for making her believe she deserved better. "Ada's sorry." The crowd listens in hushed reverence, some wiping away tears moved by the power of a story about kindness and resilience. Among them, in a shadowed corner of the room, James stands silently, his eyes glistening, but his face calm. He wears no elegant suit tonight, just a simple shirt, as if to blend into the crowd unnoticed. He hasn't come for recognition, nor to bask in glory or thanks. He is here to witness Anna, the young woman he has quietly followed, who has risen from darkness to become a light for others. As Anna concludes her speech, the room erupts in heartfelt applause, but James doesn't stay to join the celebration. He slips away, his footsteps light on New York's windswept streets. For the first time in years, his heart feels an indescribable peace. He thinks of his mother, of her resilient gaze, and realizes that through Anna, he has not only helped one person but rediscovered meaning in his own life. His quiet actions, from the small note to the discreet scholarship, have forged a bridge between two strangers' souls, proof that even the smallest act of kindness can alter a destiny. James walks on, streetlights casting shadows on his back, and in that moment, he feels less alone than ever before. Meanwhile, Anna steps off the stage, her heart still racing with emotion. She returns to her small apartment, where her mother, now healthier thanks to medical support she once thought impossible, rests. Anna retrieves James's old note from her keepsake box, its folds worn but its words still clear. "You are worth more than this." She smiles, pressing the note to her chest, feeling an invisible bond with the man whose name she'll never know. That small note has become a treasure, a reminder that kindness holds a power that transcends time and distance, capable of transforming not just one life, but hearts that have lost faith. Anna tucks the note away, her spirit light, and in her dreams that night, she stands bathed in sunlight, smiling at a world that has grown gentler. Beneath the fading glow of a New York sunset, the city pulses with vibrant lights and ceaseless energy. Yet the story of James and Anna draws to a quiet close, its echoes rippling outward, touching the hearts of all who hear it. This is a tale of compassion's boundless power, of how a single small act can ignite hope in souls shrouded in darkness. Anna, once bowed by taunts for her threadbare uniform, has risen from days of humiliation to become a beacon of inspiration. James, a man once lost in the shadows of solitude and past wounds, has found healing through his silent, outstretched hand. Their story is more than a personal journey. It's proof that in a world rife with judgment, kindness can bridge divides that seem impossible to cross. Anna, now a social worker with radiant eyes and a genuine smile, stands as a symbol of resilience. The days when she treads softly through the restaurant, weighed down by shame and buried dreams, feel like a distant memory. She stands before those in hardship, listening to their stories, offering hope as she was once given a chance to transform her life. The small note from James bearing the words, "You are worth more than this," remains tucked in her keepsake box. Not just a memento, but a reminder that a person's worth is never defined by their appearance. Anna has learned that, no matter how harsh life may be, moments of unexpected kindness can melt the icy grip of despair, opening a path to new beginnings. James, in his quiet way, has rediscovered a sense of purpose he thought long lost. He was once a man dwelling in the darkness of grief, haunted by the loss of his beloved wife and the loneliness of single fatherhood. Memories of his mother, her resilient yet humiliated gaze, once left him feeling powerless. But through Anna, he has redeemed the moments he stood silent before injustice. His discreet support, from the hidden scholarship to the funds for her mother's care, was not merely charity, but a way to confront his own past. Each of Anna's strides, from sleepless nights of study to her stirring speech at the charity event, brings him a serene peace. He doesn't need her to know his name or offer thanks. For James, watching Anna rise is the greatest reward, a testament that compassion can heal not only the recipient, but also the giver. Their story leaves behind a profound lesson, like a gentle breeze stirring the soul. In a world where shallow judgments often obscure a person's true value, this lesson reminds us never to assess someone by their outward appearance. A tattered uniform, worn shoes, or a weary demeanor cannot define a person's strength or dreams. More crucially, it calls us to dare to extend a hand, even in the smallest ways. A kind word, a caring gesture, or an unexpected opportunity can become a light for someone lost in the dark. Anna and James, though they may never meet again, have woven a story of invisible connection, where kindness becomes the thread binding strangers' hearts. Let this story resonate with you, American listeners, living in a land of grand dreams and endless challenges. Let it inspire you to spread kindness in your communities, from simple acts like a smile to a stranger to greater deeds like offering someone a chance they need. The story of Anna and James is more than a tale. It's a call to each of us to be part of positive change. Hit that subscribe button, share this story with those you love, and join us in spreading meaningful stories at 8 p.m. every night of the week. Let compassion guide you, and together we can illuminate the world's darkest corners, one moment at a time.